Well, hey, everybody, and welcome back to the One More Thought podcast. My name is Heath, and I'm so excited that you are tuning in as we wrap up our book club sermon series. In the month of July, we like to do something fun, and so this year we asked our communication team to pick out a book. I hope that some of you have gone and gotten them, but I really hope you all go and get the one we're talking about today, because we are joined by our very own Pastor Paige Allen, and I want you to see this. Her book is here. The book, Matriarchs. This is Pastor Paige's second book. And Pastor Paige, congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you excited? Are you tired? Where are you at on everything?
Today I'm tired.
Yes.
No, I'm so excited. What a lot of people don't know is I've been working on it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And so it's a really long process. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy that people are getting it in their hands and can read it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that being said, this is your second book.
Yes.
Remind everybody the name of your first book.
My first book is called He Knows Your Name.
He Knows Your Name.
Yep.
And it went through, what was the journey it went through?
It looked at the 7 nameless women in the Gospels that Jesus encounters.
Yes.
And then this one is called Matriarchs, and it also looks at women, but it looks at the women of Genesis.
Yes.
Kind of the mothers of our faith, so to speak. Sarah,
Yes.
Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for everybody that's listening out there, buy the book. It's available. We have it at the church. We can get it on Amazon, all the places. And B, I don't think anybody understands the actual book writing, like that you just like wrote this 1 week. You just got away for a week and wrote this. And so just real quick, tell everybody about the book writing process, because this is your second time through it. I've said I've never would write a book, but God's actually given me a couple thoughts about it. And so I'd love to know what your thoughts are about the book writing process.
So the book writing process is difficult, I would say, but I actually really love it because even though it's long and it's hard, I found that God really meets me in the process of writing. So this book, when my publisher came to me, the first book I had thought about for years. So I had a lot of it already done. But this book, they came to me and said, hey, we enjoyed working with you on the first book. Do you have any ideas for the next? And I was like, I have this idea, but I had done nothing on it. It was just an idea because I was reading through the Bible and I just kept thinking about these women. And so first you have to kind of pitch your idea. And then when they said, yes, we want it, they gave me 9 months to write it. Yeah. So it took me 9 months, and the church was really gracious in that they were like, get your job done. And so I just wrote in the margins. So there were some weeks that, my meetings would be done, work would be done, and I could, carve out 4 hours on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing is you just have to sit down.
Yeah.
And do it.
Yeah.
It's great to talk about it. It's another thing to actually be like, my little trick is I would actually set a timer. I would do not disturb on all my stuff. I set, I don't know why, a 45-minute timer. And I would tell myself, you cannot get out of your chair. You cannot look at your phone. You cannot do anything for 45 minutes. Yeah. You have to write. And usually when the timer went off, I was in the flow. And so I would hit repeat. Yeah. And that's the only way I got it done. Yeah. Yeah.
Which in the world we live in, 45 minutes of no distractions is like,
you can actually get so much done in 45 minutes.
It's amazing. Yeah. So, talk to me about this because I know both the books you've written. I've read the first one. I've read a little bit of this one. They are talking about women. But I feel like both books actually talk about a journey that's applicable for everybody.
Absolutely.
Like it while it's focused on women, talking about women in the Bible, I don't want men listening to this podcast to think that they couldn't read this book. I've read a little bit of it. And so tell us, you're talking about Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Right. Yes, they're all women in Genesis, but why did you write a book about them, and what can we all learn from this story?
So I basically, as I started studying their lives, I realized that they are this beautiful picture of what it looks like to say yes to God when he asks you to partner with him I use the phrase birth, but really it's not even physical birth, but saying yes to bringing something of his glory and his kingdom to the earth.
Yeah.
So yes, it could be a child, but also what I write about is maybe God's given you this idea for a business.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for a ministry. Maybe it's, nothing that's even going to have a title, but maybe it's, I'm supposed to start a new legacy for my family.
Yeah.
And I am supposed to be the one that is going to break a cycle.
Yeah.
And, our mothers and fathers of the faith in Genesis, what they do is pretty wild.
Yeah.
God comes to Abram in Genesis 12 and says, hey, I want you to follow me, and I want you to leave everything that you know that's comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think God does that with men and women today. 100%. He will say, hey, I want you to follow me, and you've got to leave some things behind. And then I just started watching their journey and realized that they had to first believe the promise was real for them.
Yeah.
That's probably one of Sarah's biggest issues. Abraham gets it. He immediately is like, I'm going to be a father of the faith. And she was like, I don't know if I get that the promise is for you. I don't know if it's for me.
Yeah.
So much so that there's a whole story with Hagar. She's like, maybe I am not important in this equation. And God actually is like, no, you are important too.
Yeah.
This is a promise for you too. So I talk about receiving the promise. I talk about in our journey with the Lord, when he calls us to something, usually there's a season of waiting, and nobody likes to wait. Yep. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, nobody likes to wait, but there's purpose in waiting, right?
Yeah.
God's refining us. And then I talk about the pain of actually starting the thing.
Yeah.
And I don't care what it is. If it's a business, if it's you're becoming parents for the first time, if you're starting a ministry, if you're stepping into a new role at your job, there is a season. I honestly tried to find better language.
Yeah.
Because who wants to read a chapter about pain?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's painful.
Yeah.
And God's with us. And then at the last two sections, I talk about then once that thing started. So you with pastoring, then the work really starts.
Yeah.
And you've got to nurture the thing that God's called you to nurture. And then lastly, I talk about releasing, because God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's the God of generations.
Yeah.
And so usually whatever he gives us, the promise, it's not just for us. Usually it's meant to go on beyond us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, even thinking through the promise and the pain, part of the reason I think they're so hard so many times is because usually the promise God gives us doesn't make sense in the world we live in. It's so countercultural. And a lot of times the pain comes from man, I'm doing something that nobody's doing, or I'm, I've struggled with that so many times. There's a pain in pastoring, and not just from pastoring, but it's man, all my friends they're running businesses, and they're leading these things, and they're making all this money, whatever it is. And it's but yet I know this is a promise from God. And so I think it's so applicable for men and women. And I just love the word journey. I think that both of your books are journey. Yesterday you did preach on the waiting.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about waiting.
Yes.
I know from my story, I don't know that I relate to a Joseph, because I feel like early on, even though I didn't feel qualified, even though I didn't feel like I had what it took early on, I felt like it would be a dream to lead Church on the Rock. Right when I came to the church, early on, but it was a long time. It was 12 years. And so, Joseph waited many years, and he went through the pit and the palace and all those things. And so, talk to us just about, maybe somebody's listening today and they're waiting on the Lord. They're waiting on that promise. They're waiting on something to start, something to happen.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I would say, first of all, that waiting feels impossible if you believe waiting is a waste.
Yeah.
And I think even just beginning to change our mindset of realizing nothing with God is wasted. Not one day, not one difficult season. God uses everything. But I think too, it's really good. The waiting is kind of a time where God reveals our motives, and he kind of roots out bad, bad things that we turn to to give us comfort in the wait.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about Joseph, and I love that. Joseph is actually like the end of this story because he is the son of Rachel, who is the last one of the matriarchs that we talk about. And Rachel, in her waiting season, actually, she looks at her husband Jacob and she says these words. She says, "Give me children or I will die."
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any, like I talk about, like she's like the drama queen of our matriarchs. And I think some people, like, that's their thing with the Lord, is they're like, come on, let's go. And yet, when you have hindsight, you realize God wasn't giving her a child until the right time, because Joseph needed to be born at the time that he was born because of the purpose God had for his life with Pharaoh and the famine. Like, if he'd been born earlier, he wouldn't have been in that position at that time, you know? And so I think too, even just understanding, like, the wait is about us, yes, but usually the wait is about something else God is doing.
Yeah.
You know?
So good.
He knows better than we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah.
And I just think in everything we do in life, God gives us a calling, but there's a timing that comes with it.
Yes.
And many times he will give us the calling well before the timing is here, and he'll give us the idea or the promise or the thing. And I was talking to a couple this morning that is going to launch a church, and they've got all these big visions and all these things. And the wife actually said, you know, really what I think we need to do first is find a place to live. And it's like, you know, we're thinking way out here, and God's like, no, like right here. Yeah. This is what I need you to do. And when the timing comes, it'll be perfect. I think about my kids all the time. I have 3 girls, and then I had my son. And I'm so thankful for that, because I was a way better dad. I was a way better dad to a son after 3 girls than I would have been if he would have came first. Right. Like, it just changed me. And so we don't like to hear that. We don't like to hear the waiting game. And yet every one of these women,
they all wait.
They all waited.
Yeah. I mean, Abraham and Sarah wait 25 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Isaac and Rebecca wait 20 years. Rachel waits 7 to 14 years. We don't exactly, like, they all wait. And I'm hopeful that when people read this, they realize, like, I don't know if it's comforting or disheartening, but, like, you know, like, this, God works in the wait.
Yeah.
He really does, you know? Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
And yet God works in the wait, and the enemy also works in the wait. And yesterday you talked about this temptation to, you use the word source idols.
Yes.
To talk about that while we're waiting, there are things that we may choose to elevate above God. Right. There are things that it's like, okay, well, I'm waiting, and you know, it goes back to like Hagar. It's like, maybe it should be this person, maybe it should be this, or maybe it should be that. And you talked about this concept of source idols. Yeah. Go into that for everybody's listening today, like just this idea. When I was really praying about, I mean, I have a whole book, and I was like, okay, Lord, what do you actually want me to preach on? Yeah. He was very clear in that he said, I want you to talk about source idols to Church on the Rock, because I feel like there's a lot of people in our church that are on the precipice for breakthrough, but kind of a key for breakthrough in their life is to take an actual look at their life and realize what their source idol is. So I didn't know about source idols until probably like 3 years ago or so. And I was actually in my community group. And one of the ladies in our community group, she was like, I heard this podcast. Have you ever heard about this? And she said, source idols. And I was like, no. So I went and did this deep dive and kind of found Tim Keller has a book on it. Matt Chandler has a couple of sermons on it. It goes all the way back to actually Martin Luther, who way back when said, you know what? I think all sin at its core is like, it's just, you're choosing to elevate something above God. Yeah. And when you really look throughout Scripture, you realize most people tend to gravitate towards one of 4 things. They are either power, which is like when I feel uncomfortable, or when God is stretching me, or just naturally, I want to have influence. I want to be seen. Yeah. I want to, power, control. So yesterday I talked about Sarah, the whole Hagar issue, I think is her attempt to control. Yeah. She's like, God, I'm not going to wait on you.
I don't trust you. I feel uncomfortable. So, I can actually make this situation work.
Yeah.
Control. The third one is comfort, which is people who are just like in a season of waiting, or just in life in general. When things get uncomfortable, instead of running to God, they just want to numb out.
Yeah.
They want to be comfortable. They're not going to do the hard thing. And then the last one is approval.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, maybe what will make me feel better is if I can just get everyone to love me. And the enemy, all four of those are so subtle, and all four of those we can make them sound spiritual.
Oh yeah. We're good at it. We're really good at it.
Yeah. And I think the enemy is kind of just like a slight degree derailing people in their yes to the Lord.
Yeah.
Because they're not saying yes with a surrendered heart. Instead, they're saying, I'll say yes, and, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I write about a story in the book. When I was in college, I like you, I knew I was called to ministry. I knew I was called to preach. And my source idol, honestly, is probably power, which I feel bad saying. It feels like a bad one. I think they're all bad, but that's how I feel. And, I'm graduating college, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to go stand on stage with thousands of people. And I was working at a Christian university, and they came to me and they said, hey, we just found out the women's chaplain is going to resign, and we want to ask you to apply for the job. And that was my dream. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Why? Because it would look good. It would sound good. It had power to it. And I immediately went home. I told Josh, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's all happening. And this is back in the day of paper applications. I started to fill out the paper application, and I heard the Holy Spirit so clearly say, no, this isn't actually my plan for you. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. This is the right step. This is more people, to minister to and all this stuff. And so for a week, I bargained with God. Like, just let me do this. Like, this is what I want to do. And I also had this moment where I realized no one knew what God was saying to me except me. Yeah. And I think this is a thing for a lot of people in the wait. Usually there's becomes a moment when it's just you and God. Yeah. And are you going to actually choose to say yes to what he's telling you? Or I could absolutely, Spirit, look at this amazing opportunity God has opened up for me. And I finally went and told Josh, like, I don't think God's saying I'm supposed to do this. Yeah. And he was like, then don't do it. And I actually was hoping he would be like, no, do it. And it felt like a sacrifice and surrender, because it wasn't like I was even saying no because I had a better job lined up. Yeah. I had no job lined up. And I went and I said no. And I stayed the assistant as they hired someone else. So I became the assistant for the person that I could have been in that job. And then God called us to Lubbock. And so in hindsight, I would have not been in the position to move to Lubbock. Yeah. And even when I came to Lubbock, I didn't have a job. I worked in a cubicle eventually for a social work agency. But a couple years later, my university where I was at, it kind of imploded. Yeah. And they went through a lot of turmoil and trials. And I realized, the protection of the Lord was actually what he was trying to do there. And me saying no to my want of power in that moment actually opened a door far better. Now, here's the thing. Did I get to start preaching to thousands of people? No. Anytime soon? No. Yeah.
But you did eventually.
Eventually I did. And I did it in a way that, like, I was not in a toxic environment, And so, I don't know. I think every person in their season of waiting, God will come to us and really what he will do is he will try to expose that idol and say, you can either surrender to me and say yes, or you can say yes to this thing. Yes. Yeah.
So good.
His way is always better.
So good.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking and I'm just thinking about so many people that I would say God said something to them in the waiting and they have twisted it to their benefit and over spiritualized it. And so, I'm really going to do this job to minister to people. And it's like, no, you're going to do it because you're going to make a ton of money. Yeah. And that sounds worse than saying, and man, what a concept to think about. What have I elevated above God? Because it is, God asks us to do things so many times that don't make sense. They don't make sense logically. They don't make sense financially. They don't make sense. And yet there is a blessing that follows obedience.
Yes.
You look up now, and I feel like I'm the old guy now because I'm constantly telling guys, hey, I'm just telling you, you're going to look up one day and go, wow, I never knew God could do this. I said no to so many ministry opportunities because I was going to be a teacher. I was going to be a coach. I was good at it. I had a lot of success at it, and just had a God encounter to apply for a job here at the church that made absolutely no sense, children's pastor. And now I look at it and it's like, man, God just one obedience at a time, one yes at a time, and not one. I could have very easily said, I'm ministering to kids at the school. I'm ministering like we are so good with our words. We are so good at twisting things. And so, man, what a powerful, powerful message for all of us.
Yeah.
Are you going to, in that moment when it's just you and God, are you going to listen to what he says and follow what he says? Or are you going to choose to elevate something else above God? And so, hey, I want to encourage all of you, whether you're readers or not. Many of you know Pastor Paige is here at the church. She's on our communication team. She's over our campus experience ministries. And I just want to encourage you, if Pastor Paige has blessed you with a message or a time, bless her, bless us, and get a copy of this church. You say, man, I'm just not a reader. Well, get it and give it to somebody. I know my daughter read her Pastor Paige's first book, and she ended up buying it for her little group as graduation gifts. And so, it's a beautiful book. The cover's feels really nice. Yeah. And so I just want to encourage you guys, check into it. You can get it anywhere. And Pastor Paige, as always, thank you so much for being on the podcast, for introducing your book during book club. And we're just so blessed by it. And thank you very much. As always, if you're tuning in, thank you for being a part. And we will see you guys next time on the One More Thought podcast.